Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening related videos. For today's video, I want to give you an update on the plants that I have that are still in their original containers. There's still so many plants that I still have not gotten into the ground for many reasons. One, life has been lifing. Two, it's been too hot to plant. This is not a good time to be transplanting, not a good time to be ruffling with the roots and trying to put a plant in the ground. It is just too hot. It is just too humid. So I still have a whole bunch of plants in containers. Some are doing well, some aren't doing well, some need extra care. So I want to give you an update on them. So let's get started. All right, guys, so here they all are. Now, you will likely recognize these because as I bought them over the last few weeks and months, I made a point of, making a video about them to tell you where I got them. Either I got them from Loganville, Georgia, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, or wherever. First up is the Dwarf Hummingbird Mint. This is an Agastache or an Agastache hybrid, the Poquito Butter Yellow. Now, I had this in my possession for quite a while, and it didn't look too great when I bought it anyway, but I believe I bought it on perennial markdown at Home Depot for $3, right? Which is why it was on there for $3, because normally you're not going to get a Vigoro for $3, right? And it's usually $8.98. And I had just left it sitting there, kept putting it back to put it in the ground, and then I thought it was a goner. But then it started to put on new foliage, and now look guys, it's actually blooming. Now normally you guys know I would not leave something in a 2.5 or 2 quart this long in the summer in the heat, but it's just not a good time to be trying to ruffle these roots and put this in the ground. So it's still looking good. I'm really happy. This is what it looks like inside of the pot, and this is what the foliage looks like. But so far so good with the Dwarf Hummingbird Agastache. Next up we have some Chrysalis Blue Butterfly Bush. These were $5 from Home Depot on perennial markdown. I had cut these back once I saw the new foliage. They weren't looking great either, so I cut them back. And of course, you know that butterfly bushes respond really well to cutbacks, right? Now, these guys here again are in a 2 or 2.5 quart from Vigoro, and they haven't been struggling as much as other plants because it's a butterfly bush. We know that they don't like to be watered too much and they are okay with the heat. But the fact that they're still in a 2.5 quart is an issue, right? But again, don't want to ruffle too much. And to be honest with you, I don't have any space for this one. Another reason why I have this still here. As you know, my garden is getting tighter and tighter. Space is limited. The only time I'm getting space these days is if for whatever reason a plant decides to croak, or I had to move some stuff around, but yeah, these don't look too bad, right? And another thing I want to say also is that I've been keeping these guys watered, no matter what. Now it's a lot more work when you have plants in smaller containers because as you know, they dry out faster, but so far so good with this Chrysalis Blue Butterfly Bush. So here's a Vigoro Artisan Yellow Ombre Coneflower got from Home Depot. These were 2 for $12 a couple of weeks ago. And this is what they look like now. And I'm noticing a trend. When I buy Vigoro coneflowers, I do notice this trend, right? This plant is gone. I don't know what the story is. I don't feel like I overwatered it. I don't feel like I underwatered it. This plant did look kind of suspect when I brought it home, but it was the best ones out of the ones that I saw at my Home Depot. But they're gone, guys. They're gone. 2 for $12 they were. Now, obviously, if these were $10, then that will hurt a little bit more. Now, at Home Depot and at Lowe's and a lot of these stores, they do give you a whole year to bring your plant back if it dies. To be honest with you guys, I have never, ever brought a plant back because I just feel like it's not worth it, But I don't know. I think I might actually break my own rule here and take this back because there's no reason for this to be like this on my watch. You guys know how I take care of my plants and for it to look like that. Now, I did buy 4. And remember, right, when I did my Sunday walkabout, I showed you the same guy here in my mailbox garden that was looking kind of suspect too, but it's still alive. The ones in the pots are just not going to make it, guys. This is what it looks like. I mean, I could try to cut this back, but even when watch what happens when I try to even pull this back. This thing looks like it actually drowned, if you ask me. If I come in close, you can see. But it's not drowned on my hand. I mean, I've only had the thing so much long, and it just looks kind of drowny. It looks like a plant that has drowned, which is, I don't know, because my Home Depot, they don't seem to overwater their plants, but I don't know what the story is, guys. But this has been a waste. And like I said earlier, I might make a point of finally taking the plant back. Let me know. And to be honest with you, I did think I remember seeing a comment under one of my stuff about people not having luck with coneflowers, especially from Vigoro. I have amazing luck. I have so many types of coneflowers in my yard. Not sure what the story is here. Let me know if you have a story about coneflowers and how they do in your yard. It's not all bad, guys. I do have a lot of good to report. So here is a Serendipity alium, right? This was $5 on perennial markdown at Home Depot, usually $10. These are from the folks at Proven Winners. If you go back in my video, you're going to see how this was looking rough. I mean, it was looking really, really rough. And, my Home Depot has a lot of perennial markdown. They put a cart to the side and they put a lot of plants that don't look good. And people were just passing them. Of course, I know better not to pass them. I picked them up, right? Look how these guys are blooming right now. Another example of, yes, I did show you how things were looking bad with the Vigoro, but here's a prime example as to how a plant can really bounce back when you get it for cheaper. Imagine me buying this pretty much for $11 and now it was only $5 and now I have 3. I had bought 3 that day and all 3 of them, they are blooming. They weren't blooming. It was just the strappy leaves when I first bought them like that. And then here they are blooming, looking really, really great. Again, nowhere to put this guy right now because of the many reasons, but I'm so happy to report that they're still looking great for me here in my garden. Now, let me know if you have Serendipity allium. And I mentioned this before. I don't have good luck when I'm planting allium bulbs, but these are a different type of allium where it's an actual perennial, like a plant. You're not planting an actual bulb. And I do have 2 more in my garden and they are doing well. This is a leopard plant. I had gotten this guy from the folks at Loganville in Growers Outlet. And I believe I had bought this for $5 or $7, one of those. This is a shade plant. And I still haven't gotten around to put it in the ground, but it's looking great. Not only is it looking great, I have 2 new leaves. See, that's a new leaf. And here's another one coming out here. Actually, no, it's more than 2. Look, let me see. Here's 2 little ones right there as well. So the leopard plant is doing great. I know this guy can get really big. For me, it has to be an absolute shade. We get too hot and too humid in Georgia, guys. Love this guy. It's my first one. I've seen it before and I've been trying to get one. And I just love how the foliage looks really, really grand, really nice and glossy. And this guy here is in this spot right here. Right? You can see it's in this pot and it's been taken well. I mean, I have it outside of the sun, so you know it's going to perform well so long as it's not getting beat up. Let me know if you have leopard plant or giant leopard plant in your garden or in a container and how it does. Here's another plant I got from the folks at Growers Outlet. This one is the Cajun ruellia. I think I remember seeing this being referred to as the Argentine petunia, right? When I bought this, I came home and I showed you guys everything I bought. This guy here didn't have any flowers on it, but the picture showed me it looked like this. And finally, it is blooming. Of course, it's not. I have actually planted 2 of them already in the ground, and this one I still haven't gotten around to it. Now, what I think I like about this guy is that I actually had forgotten to water this. This pot is bone dry. I haven't been watering. I totally had forgotten about it because it was actually on the side yard next to the ones that are in the ground. And this plant is quite fine. It is not drooping. It is not wondering where the water is. So maybe this is a type of plant that doesn't like a lot of water, doesn't like to stay wet. But look how pretty this plant looks. Look how nice the foliage looks. It is all budded up and I have not been watered. It's completely dry, guys. So that's good to know. Let me know if you have this guy in your garden in a container and how it does. I bought this Asclepias tuberosa from Home Depot. I actually bought two of them, and they are a vital part of the life cycle of the monarch butterflies. Now, these were $7.98, and they were looking okay when I bought them. Now, they're beginning to brown a little bit, but I need to cut them back. I don't think the actual plant itself is in trouble, but I could just cut this back. I can see real great signs of life here, and I could just cut this guy off later on. I don't know if I'm ultimately going to put it in a container or in the ground. Likely stay in a container, but obviously a bigger container because it can't stay in here forever. This is great. The butterflies love this guy for food and for shelter and for everything that comes with the life cycle of the monarch butterflies. It's looking great. And I'll definitely update you how it does or if it actually brings in the monarchs. I've seen a lot of monarchs over the years, not much so far, and here we are in July, but I anticipate them making their way to me sooner or later. More coneflowers. I have two of the Pow Wow Wild Berry from Home Depot. I didn't need to buy it. I just went into the store, just kind of browsed around, and then there was nothing else going on. I just picked these two up, right? They were only $7.98, and they do well for me, right? I could put this in two places when I move some stuff around, but they're in the 2-quart, and they're doing good so far. You remember I picked up some Prairie purple coneflowers from Lowe's that had these for $15.98 the other day, and I got them for $7, like pretty much half off, right? These guys, what I like about them is that the bees absolutely adore them. A lot of different guys really like this particular one. I'm really beginning to notice that. Now, you remember, this is the one that I have in my mailbox garden, right next to that other Vigoro coneflower that's not doing great. Right, and this guy does really well. I believe it also reseeds, which is okay. I will never complain about a coneflower reseeding because that means free plants. But this guy is in a 1.5 gallon, and it's gonna do well or do better than something that's in a 2-quart because it's bigger. Because of course, the bigger the container, the better it will do when the heat hits versus something in a 1-quart or 1 pint or 2.5 quart. But I really like this plant, and I'm not in a rush to plant this guy. But I already know where I'm going to put it because I had bought 3 and I already planted 2. But it is looking great after not being planted and in this container all this time. Let me know if you have the Prairie purple coneflower and how it does in your garden or in your container. This is a Pugster blue dwarf butterfly bush from the folks at Proven Winners. Remember, I got this for $10 on perennial markdown from Home Depot. Still haven't put these in the ground yet. I need to cut it back, but obviously I'm going to wait until things calm down. To be honest with you guys, it has been a really nice and cool. We're supposedly supposed to get a cool down. Now, for me, this week, the cool down really means mid-80s because we've been hovering around the mid-90s all this time. We finally get a break. Right? But it's not a true break because it's going to really heat up again. But butterfly bushes take well to the heat. I am never worried about a butterfly bush in a container. I am not, because they don't need to be watered all the time. They love the heat. They don't mind the humidity. To be honest with you, I don't ever think I've ever seen my butterfly bushes wilt or whimper or look like they're about to die, right? But this Pugster blue here is, I bought 2. Well, actually I bought 4 and I gave 2 away, and they're still doing great. Now this is in a 2 gallon, which again makes a big difference. Let me know if you have this guy here in a container or in the ground and how it's doing in your heat. All right, so here's something I do for a plant that is looking really rough and is still hope to save, right? I put some water in my wheelbarrow and I leave them in here for 12 hours, especially if they're bone dry, right? So I did this for my lantana because I had gone away and didn't do anything with the lantana. But the good thing is the lantana will be okay. They love the heat, right? So that's the lantana right here, right? Here is a coneflower that I had gotten from the folks at Loganville And this one's not doing too great for whatever reason. I had bought like 10 of them. Everybody's doing great except this guy, which is really, really strange. And he just looks rough in the container. He's leaning to the side, not sure what the story is, right? And then you remember these guys here are a different type of butterfly bush. Remember, I got this from Loganville as well. This guy here, right? This particular one here is the butterfly gold. And these are not chartreuse, but variegated. Remember I mentioned when I did the video, I said to myself, I've never seen butterfly bushes like that. Same thing with this guy here. This is a Gora that I had gotten from Lowe's. I had gotten 2 and one of them died. This is in a 1 quart. So this definitely cannot dry out too quickly because it's not going to make it, which is probably why the other one didn't make it. But this is something I do when I really need to get this plant hydrated. Because of course, when a plant is bone dry and you can see the edges of the container, the dirt moving from the edges of the container, it's bad, right? And no amount of watering that you do will change that, which is why I have decided to have these sit here and then I'll take them out. I will not keep them in here for more than 12 hours because they might drown, right? You don't want the roots to stay too wet too long. Not a lot of plants like that. So that's the plants that I have in this guy here. So those guys here and these guys here are definitely the ones I want to show you. Obviously, I have other plants in containers that's where they're going to stay, the bigger containers, right? But I definitely want to highlight the ones that are still in the original and what they're looking like. So I don't know what the story is going to happen, going to be with this whole Vigoro coneflower. I'm assuming that it's not going to make it, but I'm still happy that everybody is still doing great, guys. Remember, keep watering and keep holding on to faith that this heat will subside soon. Obviously, August is still ahead of us and it's still going to be a lot of heat. But so long as we stay on top of things, we should have a good result at the end of the season. Let me know how your container plants are going, especially the ones who have not been transplanted into a bigger container yet, or let me know how the plants in the bigger container, the smaller container, or depending on where you bought them, if some are doing better than others. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember, hit that notification bell so you can be alerted in all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.